Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. You absolute legends. I hope everyone's doing fine. And welcome back, guys. I am back, and thank you everyone for your amazing support, amazing well wishes and everything like that. I am here back in Italy, guys. I'm in Italy, and we are up and rolling, guys. We're back and better than ever before, of course, guys. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Please, before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to put your notifications on, all that great stuff. I've got some great news, guys. I've got some great news coming out of here from Italy over here in regards to Napoli and a potential transfer for Manchester United over here, guys. Lots of things are going on in regards to Man United behind the scenes, who we're going after. Some of the players are like, who are we talking about here? But there's a lot of new players, new players that are. You know what I would say is that the majority of the time when I mention players on Stretford Post, generally we've mentioned them a few times, but some of the players that we're mentioning now are a little bit like, who? We ain't heard about him before, you know, which could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Who knows? Maybe you're getting desperate, you know what I mean, as well. So we do have to look at things in that aspect as well, guys. Absolutely. But guys, thank you for joining. Smash a like on the video, guys. Let's get to 50 likes before the end of the show, guys. If we could do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Yes, I am in Italy, guys. It is Easter. Usually I am over here, but during this period of time. But yeah, I just you know, it's been a crazy 3 weeks. What I would say, a crazy 10 days. Should I say a crazy 10 days in regards to my life and stuff like that? You know, but one thing I would say about life in general, that life is an experience, and that's it. And it's about gaining experience and becoming more wiser and becoming more knowing in regards to some things as well. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, let me just say hello to the community. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome everyone, of course. Pick up Donan. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Donan. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, we hope so. Anyway, Donan, we hope so, because there is a prat in charge somewhere in the world that is hell-bent on making the world a worse place, and these are the kind of people that we need to eradicate from this world, if you know what I mean. Absolutely. Big up Kevin. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you're good. Bless up Mr. Rene. So how you doing, my friend? Big up, my brother. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Always good to see the great people at Stretford Post. Good morning. Welcome back. Thank you so much, Dingo. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I'm not lagging too much. I think it's okay, guys. Absolutely. New internet. Obviously, I'm over here in my apartment over here in Italy. But yeah, really good to be back and stuff like that. Now, look, guys, let's get into some of the Manchester United news. Let's get into some transfer news and stuff like that. Let's see what's going on in regards to the world of transfer. Now, one of the players that has been mentioned, that has been scattered around Europe at the moment, is a man named Elif Elmas. Now, Elif Elmas, I've took it upon myself to have a look and to research this, because I am in Naples right now. I'm in Napoli, right? So I am in Naples right now, okay? So I took it upon myself to have a look at this Elif Elmas. And basically, there's a lot of truth in regards to this. He's an incredibly experienced player when you consider his age. He's only 26 years old, already 75 caps for Macedonia, North Macedonia, already 75 caps. He plays an attacking midfielder, left midfielder, centre midfielder. The key for this deal is that his contract expires at the end of the season. His contract expires. So there is a potential for Man United, which they love, of course. Man United love a free transfer, don't they? They love a free transfer. So there is a potential there for Man United to get a free transfer. So that could be something. And are Man United looking at players like this? Are Man United looking at the free transfers, the bargain bucket sort of thing? You know what I mean? Not bargain bucket chicken, but bargain bucket transfers, of course, guys. Absolutely. So what I would say is, yeah, look, I don't mind these sort of players. Of course I don't. I don't mind these sort of players. But one thing I would say about these sort of players that, you know, is that they're 26. Not many people have heard about him in regards to the commercial side of things, in regards to statistically and stuff like that, right? But I'm not going to rule out this kind of transfer. I believe this kind of transfer represents a squad transfer. I think it's a squad guy. This isn't a guy that's going to get you for Man United's sake, fourth to first. Do you know what I mean? In regards to that. Nothing. I don't think that's going to happen. But these kind of players who've got experience, who've got a lot of know-how in regards to playing in top-level football, in regards to his case, Serie A, these kind of players, of course, are important as well, of course, you know, and I would say that they'd be good for the squad, because Man United have always had squad players of this ilk. They've always had these kind of players. around and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which I think is a good thing. Elif Elmas, North Macedonia, 75 caps, 13 goals. Not bad, is it? At the end of the day, absolutely not bad. Great player he would be if Man United could get him. Of course, guys, absolutely. Now, look, guys, subject to the Champions League, I was keeping up to date with the Champions League and stuff like that. I was looking at the Champions League, and I have to say some of the English clubs have been an absolute embarrassment this week. I do believe that Man United would have been better than a lot of these clubs in the Champions League. I'm thinking about Chelsea. I'm thinking about Tottenham as well. Guys, absolutely. Liverpool had a terrible result as well. I'm looking at a lot of these games, and I think a lot of the English clubs have embarrassed themselves this week, guys. I'm not going to say too much about it, but I would say that even in Man United's worst day, even at Man United's worst time in the Champions League in football, we would not get slapped up like that. There's no way on earth that Man United would get slapped up like that. Like some of these English clubs have been slapped up this week. There's no way on earth Man United would get slapped up like that. I looked at the results of 5-2 against PSG, Chelsea. And I'm looking at 5-5 against Atletico Madrid. I'm looking at this is crazy, man. You know what these teams are going to do. Ultimately they're going to do. They're going to end up harming English football in regards to the places we get in the Champions League. 5th place goes to the Champions League this year, isn't it? But if these English teams carry on getting slapped up, we're not going to get that 5th place. You know what I mean? And this is obviously the result of having average teams in Europe. Man United should have been in the Champions League. We know that. We know we fluffed the Europa League final, but I mean, some of these teams just so embarrassed. I've been watching Man United in Europe for 40 odd years. I've been watching Man United in Europe. I've been watching Man United the way they are in Europe and stuff like that. And we've never been maybe in the early days when we were just getting accustomed to Europe, and European football was different because you had different rules in regards to what type of players you could select, and you can only select a certain amount of European football players and stuff like that. They have to be homegrown and everything like that. But we got slapped up a couple of times, maybe against Barcelona once I can remember, and this and that maybe. But nah, man, these days with that money to get slapped up like that is unbelievable. But I just thought I'd bring that into the show. Another player I'm going to bring in to you in regards to transfer news, guys, is a young defender named Sam Amisa. Now, Sam Amisa is an English defender, only 18 years old, currently playing for Fulham. Now, Manchester United are looking at this type of player. We know that Man United are looking at the next up-and-coming English player, or the next up-and-coming European player, young player that is coming through the ranks. Now, Amisa has captured the interest of Manchester United in recent days, in recent weeks, with his performances for Fulham. Now, he is a centre-back, and the key thing about Amisa is that he can play with 2 feet. He has a 2-footer, and he can play as a right-back, he can play as a left centre-back, and he could, and he's got this strength about him well above his years. Now, what do I think about this? I think great, that's good, but we got Lenny Yoro and we got Aiden Heaven as well. So I would say that we've got these type of players. I would also bring into the subject Kolungi and Fredrickson and players like that. We've got these type of players already at Manchester United. You know what I mean? We've got these young players, and we've got these up and coming players. I think Man United need more experience in there, because in particular, if Harry Maguire leaves the football club, we are going to need another defender. Of course we are. We're going to need another defender. And I feel like a player like Sam Amisa, as talented as he is, it'd be great if we got him in. But please, Man United, what we need to do, we need to start concentrating what's the most important thing, which is fixing the first team. That's what I'll say. Fix the first team first, and then we go from there, guys. Absolutely. And I'm just saying hello again to everyone. Big up, Paul. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you again, my guy. Good to see you. Hello, Sal. Good morning. How are you? Very well. Good to see you, Sam. Thank you so much for coming back, my friend. Good morning, Sal. Good to see you this morning. Glad you're well. Thank you so much, Alison. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're good. Thank you for your well wishes. Really appreciate you, of course, as I do with the community. Absolute legendary community, of course, guys. It is an absolute wonderful community that we have over here, guys. If we don't make Champions League, we're going to have, Kevin, I mean, look, if we get in the Champions League, right? If we get in the Champions League, I don't think we're going to have a particularly inspiring transfer window. I don't. I think that Man United are hell-bent on saving money. And this is what I've thought about for a long time now. Even if we get in the Champions League, you know as well as I do, Kevin, that there's going to be excuses. They're going to have excuses. They're going to put excuses up into the table that, because of this, because we didn't qualify for Europe last year, because of revenue, this and this and that. You know as well as I do that they're going to make excuses after excuses. And if we don't qualify for the Champions League. God forbid. You know what it's going to be like. Because when you're looking at Man United at the moment, you're looking at a team that need about 8-9 players in there, considering that the players that are leaving, obviously you've got Casemiro leaving as well, which is a big thing. He needs to be replaced, and he needs to be replaced with a proper number 6. And are Man United going to do that? Do you trust Man United to do that? And this is the thing about it. Now, there's lots of oohs and ahs and lots of twists and turns in regards to Man United at the moment, in regards to transfers, who we're going to bring in, which player we're going to bring in. Is it going to be this player? Is it going to be that player? One thing I would say is that I've already given it is a bracket of players, right? There's a small little bracket of players in regards to Anderson and Stiller and Wharton and these kind of players, right? In that bracket that Man United need to fight tooth and nail to get these players, because these are the players that are going to make a difference for Man United. Amadou Onana. These type of players that we need to look at. We can't be basing, we're not Donald Trump FC. We can't base things on a hunch, at the end of the day. So what we need to do, we need to bring players in that are proven at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And we need to bring players in that are going to slot right into that team, and we're going to press play, and then we're going to start performing. He's going to start performing without having to wait and stuff. Oh, he's young and this and that, because we've been down that road before, haven't we? So I think that's very important. Good morning, Robert. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope everything is blessed of you. Thank you so much for joining me again today, my guy. I hope you're blessed. Good to see you again, and good to see everyone. I missed you guys. It's been a long time. Feels like it's been a long time. It's only been a couple of days, really, but it has been a long time. But I'm going to start bringing you that content and stuff like that. Of course I am. I'm going to start bringing you, more content whilst I'm over here in Italy, of course, guys, whilst I wait for everything to calm down, because at the end of the day, I was in Abu Dhabi, guys, and it's pretty dangerous, let me tell you that, to say the least. And especially where I live, which is literally a stone's throw from the target, and at the end of the day. But what I would say, guys, is it's good to be back, and you know what? I'm happy to talk about Man United and start hoping that Man United solidify this season and get into that Champions League, which I think they will at the end of the day. Didn't do the watch along for Newcastle United. Obviously, that was our last game. The sad thing about it is that because we played Newcastle, it seems like we played for weeks now. Haven't played for weeks, and we seem to be waiting. Like we seem to be every time we lose, we seem to have like 2 weeks off. And that is just the worst thing, because you really want to play another game. You really want to see Man United playing another game. It's so frustrating when, but you got the team's got 2 weeks off, and, you have to think about the Newcastle game over and over again, which was obviously the Newcastle game was an absolute disaster, of course. Now, let me get into the more transfer news. I want to talk about a young lad named Johan Manzambi. Johan Manzambi is a 20-year-old who plays for Freiburg. Played in the Bundesliga, centre midfielder, attacking midfielder, CDM, valued at around 30 million. Now, the thing about Johan Manzambi is that he's got interest around Europe, including Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid. He's an incredibly talented young lad from Freiburg, another good Bundesliga young player coming through the ranks. I mean, what do they do? What's in the cornflakes, guys? I don't know, because at the end of the day, they are producing a lot of great young players in the Bundesliga, and one of them is Johan Manzambi. He has captured the interest of Manchester United. Manchester United are interested in Johan Manzambi, only 20 years old, playing first-team football for Freiburg. So centre midfielder, attacking midfielder, CDM. And this is a key here, guys, because centre midfielder, attacking midfielder, CDM. It's something very modern about that. I got a feeling that the traditional number 6, the traditional number 8 is being deleted. I just got this feeling. I don't know how you guys feel. I just feel like the traditional midfielders these days have been deleted. I think teams are looking more now on overall players that can play a number of positions, like all in one sort of thing, kill two birds with one stone, or 3 birds with one stone, if you know what I mean. Not advocating throwing stones at birds, but it's just a saying, of course. But what I would say is that, look, in regards to Johan Manzambi, like he's that typical modern day midfielder, can play number 8, can play number 6, can do everything. It's a little bit like Anderson, you know what I mean? This kind of player. And I think Man United are looking at that type of player. Man United are looking at players that could, help the squad in regards to if we get an injury to number 6 or we get an injury to number 8, they could just slot right in without having to do that. Because Man United have to spend so much money. Theoretically, we have to spend so much money because Man United have to concentrate on so many positions. 8, 9 positions. They're going to be looking at players who play more than one position because that could kill 2 birds with one stone, of course, to say it again. So that's the thing they're looking at. This is why they're looking at players who can play CM, AM, CDM, and this kind of thing. Number 8, number 6, number 10. And this is why they're looking at players like this. So they don't have to sign as many players. Peep the game, guys. I know what they're doing because most players that we're being linked to, they're not just centre back, that's it. It's like centre back, CDM, right back, left back kind of thing. And that's what we're looking at the moment. And we're not actually looking at specialized players in one position. It's like basically a number of positions they can play in. Absolutely. But Johan Manzambi, another one off the block, valued around 30 million euros, guys. Valued around 30 million euros. Interesting one coming out of the airways, of course, Johan Manzambi. I did mention Johan Manzambi about 4 months ago, something like that. We were linked to him a while ago as well. I did mention him on Stretford Post. Don't be surprised if a lot of these players, they're going to be resurfaced. A lot of the players that we mentioned, maybe once, maybe twice, we mentioned them, and they're going to be linked again as the summer gets close, of course, guys. All being well, of course, guys. Absolutely. Big up everyone, of course. Big up. Is that French kid? Which one, Kevin? Which one? Which French kid, my friend? Which one? Yeah. So what I would say is that in regards to Manchester United, Man United qualifying for the Champions League has become imperative for our future. And basically what it is that in regards to Man United, we have to understand that if we don't qualify for the Champions League, this will become a downward spiral. And this is something that we can't do. We have to get to Champions League football. I was very worried about the Newcastle game before the Newcastle game. I was even more worried about the Newcastle game after the Newcastle game, because at the end of the day, I did predict that Man United would struggle against Newcastle, and lo and behold, we struggled against 10-man Newcastle, and that is unacceptable. And we didn't only struggle, we didn't even put pressure on them when they went down to 10 men, which is very embarrassing in my opinion. It was an embarrassing performance, and this is something that Man United have had in their locker, this kind of performance for many, many years now, this kind of performance where we don't capitalise on opportunities. And when Newcastle went down to 10 men, I was looking at it, obviously, I was looking at results, seeing it was 1-0 to Newcastle. Don't worry, Man United. I saw it was 0-0. I said, don't worry, Man United are going to get back in it. I was like, we're going to get back in it. We're going to win 3 or 4-0. And lo and behold, Newcastle win the game, didn't they? And 2-1. And it was completely embarrassing, to be honest with you. And something that we have done more than one occasion this season where we struggled against 10 men. Crystal Palace, we were extremely lucky that we got the penalty. And in my opinion, it would have been very harsh if it happened to Man United. I'd be absolutely devastated. I'll be very annoyed if that red card was given and that penalty was given. I don't know how you feel about that. But against Chelsea, we struggled with 10 men. We were lucky, of course, guys. Absolutely. We lost against Everton with 10 men, of course, as well. We know this season. So Man United mentally and Man United when they play against the low block are absolutely, I don't know how, but useless when we play against the low block. We're probably the most uncreative team there is. We pass it from side to side. We don't penetrate the box or anything like that. However, this is why Man United do need a number of signings in this football club. They do need a number of transfers. I did say 8 or 9 players need to walk through that door in the summer, guys. And obviously, we're going to lose about 8 or 9 players as well. So there's no excuses for Ineos and the Glazers not to do any business, guys. Absolutely. Because, look, I want to see next season us going to that next level. I think if Man United get in the top 3, top 4 this season, maybe even the top 2, you never know. Stranger things have happened. But if Man United get in the top 3 this season, I want to see progression next season. I want to see us going forward that top 2. I really do. I want to see that because we got an opportunity here. Guys, look at Europe. This league is not what it seems to be. This league, guys, this league is not what it is, guys. Absolutely. It's not what it is. Used to be, should I say. Absolutely. And I would say that, guys, it was embarrassing seeing the results yesterday. I'll be honest with you, guys. I couldn't believe my eyes, right? Guys, cheers. Right. It was embarrassing looking at the results yesterday. It really, really was. And I was thinking, you know what? If Man United win this Champions League, Man United wouldn't be doing that. Man United would be exerting themselves, even in our worst times. You remember when Man United were playing PSG? We literally own PSG, guys. When Man United played PSG, we own PSG. How many times we played PSG and knocked them out? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's ridiculous. Absolutely. Kevin, the one you mentioned, you mean Manzambi? Manzambi Swiss, man. Manzambi's a Swiss international. Sorry about that. He is a Swiss international. Yes, Manzambi. Guys, 19 appearances for Freiburg this season, 3 goals. Very, very good player. Again, players that Man United are going to be looking at, sort of kind of players that Man United will be scouting this season, of course, guys. Absolutely. But yeah, interesting to see what is going to happen in the summer. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how Man United negotiate certain transfers. are Man United going to splash a lot of money on a big player? I don't know. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, or are they just going to be concentrating on the players that I've mentioned today? Guys, and I said it. I said it at the beginning of the show. I think it's a balance. I think you have to have a balance in regards to this. I think you have to bring in the big players, and you have to also look at the younger players, up and coming players, or players that are good for the squad. Even if they're 25, 26 years old, they're going to be good for the squad. Remember when we bought Sabitzer in, he was good for the squad, wasn't he? At the end of the day, that kind of thing, good for the squad as well, I would say. And these players, I hope that Man United, I just hope that Man United, I leave this window in the summer and we're all feeling, that was a good window. I just doubt it's going to happen with the World Cup being on. If the World Cup goes on, guys, I don't know what you're thinking about that. But if the World Cup goes on, obviously there's teams are going to be pulling out of the World Cup at this rate, guys, absolutely, because of the way certain politicians are acting in this world, guys, which are absolutely destroying the world. And that's what we have to understand. And, guys, and just let people live. Let people live. And that's what I would say about it. But, the one saving grace about life and that is Manchester United. We got to try, we can watch Man United, we can cheer Man United, we can enjoy football. And I think that's very, very important. Over this last few weeks, 10 days, I'd say, it's been very difficult to even think about football, even to think about, because at the end of the day, what's going on and stuff like that. So it's light relief, it's big relief, should I say, to have that weight off your shoulders and just to be watching football. And I think that we are the lucky ones, and we have to be appreciated to what we have and stuff like that. But that's not to say my levels and my standards are not higher in regards to Man United. Absolutely not. My levels and standards are absolutely through the roof when it comes to Man United. Absolutely, guys. Yeah. But you know what? I'm glad I'm here in Italy, and hopefully all being well. Everything is great. Landed in Milan yesterday. Made my way down to Naples, of course. And it's good to be back in Europe, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And you know what? Maybe I could start watching football at a normal time as well. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to midnight and things like that, where I was and stuff like that at the end of the day, which is important. In regards to watch-alongs and things like that, of course, guys, absolutely. But when I'm thinking about it now, obviously, think about Man United, and I'm thinking about, where we are as a football team. I tell you right now, guys, I don't trust this football team. They started to gain my trust, and then every time they slowly gain my trust, it's like a slap around the face. I lose all trust in them. And after that Newcastle game, I have no time for any nonsense anymore. Honestly, I have no time for their rubbish at the end of the day. And, in this league, right, this league right here that we have this season is incredibly poor. And I would argue that with anyone. It's probably the poorest league it's ever been. For that Arsenal team, who probably not even the top 10 Arsenal team I've seen in my life, to win this league, I mean, come on, guys. I mean, there's got to be more to this league than this, and that just goes to show you how poor the teams are. It's so poor, this league. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. I say it more than ever. I don't know why the talent has dropped off so much. I don't know why the teams have dropped off so much. Maybe players are too rich too soon. Maybe, obviously, they've got more important things to think about and stuff. Good morning, Christian. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. How much do you think we are going to have to spend with outgoing players' money as well? It's true, Christian. That's the $1 million question, quite literally, isn't it? I've always said that Man United need to spend 500 million to $1 billion. I actually say that, and this is no exaggeration. Man United are going to be losing, obviously, Rasmus. Man United are going to lose Rashford. Sancho's leaving. Casemiro is leaving. Mason Mount may leave. Maguire may leave. These players may leave. So what does that mean? These players have to be replaced, right? So you're not going to be having a 500 to $1 billion net spend. It's going to be, players going out and players, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean. But that's how much Man United need to spend, not including the money's going to come in. Just the players that are leaving now. Look, you look at Sancho, you look at Rasmus, you look at Casemiro, right? Mason Mount will probably leave as well. You've got Maguire. Guys, I think Luke Shaw needs to go. Yes, there's a number of players that need to leave this football club that, need to replace. That's 6 or 7 already off the cuff. And then you've got to build the squad as well. And we've got a very weak squad. You've got to build the squad as well, which is obviously important. You know what I mean? So I would say if you're looking at money spent without net, I'm not going to talk about net, but money spent 500 to $1 billion. All right, look, I would say 500 million Man United need to spend, right? That's what Man United need to spend. Now, if you take away the players that we're going to be losing and stuff, it's going to be about 200, 300 million net spend, something like that. So that's how much Man United need to spend, at least. I'm talking about 8 or 9 very good players that need to come in. We've got the Champions League next season. They're going to be getting 100 million for the Champions League as well. You know what I mean? That's a big thing as well, of course. Absolutely. Big up, my friend Christian. How many games do you think we need to win to make the Champions League? Right now, when I'm looking at the table and I'm looking at how many points we are, I think 3 points, isn't it? I think Man United need to win every single game. No, win. No, I would say, no, I'm exaggerating. Look, I think Man United need to win every game apart from a draw. Maybe they can draw one or two draws, but the rest of them they need to win. They can't do any more than that, because when you're looking at Liverpool, you're looking at Chelsea in regards to that. Look at Aston Villa. We can't let them get ahead of us at the end of the day. Like if you look at the league right now, if I go to the league right now, right? If I go to the EPL league right now, and I look at it, let me have a look. So, So we are on 50. We are on 51 points. We're level with Aston Villa at 51, and Chelsea are on 48. So now we've got what we got. We've got now 9 games left, right? So, guys, there's no exaggeration for me to say this, right? There's no exaggeration. I'm not exaggerating. But there's no exaggeration for me to say this, is that Man United need to win. Man United literally need to win the next probably few games. We got a big game against Chelsea. We've got a big game away to Bournemouth as well, which is going to be a difficult game as well. That Bournemouth game I'm looking at, I know that's going to be difficult. We got that game, and we got the Chelsea game away as well, which is going to be a difficult game. And those 2 games for me, I'm looking at, just like I looked at the Newcastle game, I'm looking at, and I think that those 2 games for me are incredibly important and difficult. LT, big up LT, how you doing? Why don't they just go all out on Luis Enrique? Because it's clear not totally off the table, because the only one to excite me is Luis Enrique, good summer window. Look, you know what, LT, you speak the same as me. You know the same as me and stuff like that. And we agree with a lot of things, and I agree. I said that what typified it for me, tactically, I don't think that Carrick is the guy for Man United. I don't. I hope I'm proven wrong. I love Michael Carrick. I was there when Michael Carrick was playing for Man United, captaining Man United to a Champions League and things like that, So what I would say is this, right? I would say that Luis Enrique is the right guy. Again, he proved it yesterday. What a manager. What a style of football. This guy is the guy that can take Man United forward. And I think we should fight tooth and nail to get Luis Enrique. Absolutely. Luis Enrique is the guy for Man United. And regardless what Michael Carrick does this season, congratulations. If Michael Carrick gets in the Champions League, absolutely fantastic. If Michael Carrick gets into the Champions League, congratulations. I'll be absolutely delighted. But if Luis Enrique is available, Luis Enrique is the guy for Man United. And that's what I would say. I don't think Michael Carrick has got it in him to be the Man United manager. I don't know why there's something about Michael Carrick. I think he's good in patches. I just haven't seen how would I say it? Certain managers, they've got this thing. I don't know I can't explain it, but Luis Enrique's got it. And I think Luis Enrique is that guy that can take Man United to the next level, in my opinion. I really do think that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chaninga. Actions speak louder than speculation. You need to play approach him and get a deal done with him. He doesn't want then go to the next rather than spend whole summer. This is the biggest problem, Chandinga. This is the one thing that I've been saying, and this is one thing that Man United have been doing for years. Is basically focusing on one player and then tunnel vision. Then you don't look left, you don't look right, and then you miss out on opportunities to get other players. Now, I like to think that Man United are looking at more than one player. I like to think they are looking at a bunch of players and have contingency plans. So, for example, when we were linked to Jareth Branthwaite a year or so ago, a couple of years ago, we didn't get Jareth Branthwaite, but then we got Lenny Yoro. It was like a contingency plan. It was already ready. And that's what Man United need to do with various positions. Because the likes of Anderson, the likes of Wharton, the likes of Stiller, the likes of Amadou Onana, and these players like that, we're not guaranteed to get these players. And that's absolutely correct. We're not guaranteed to get these players. Of course we're not. So what Man United need to do, and hopefully with all these names that I've mentioned, I mean, I'm not even talking about the Belabers of this world and the Guy Schmidt, and Said El Malas and Biodis and stuff like that. I'm not even talking about these players. at the end of the day, what I would say is this. If they can't get Anderson, which is a huge possibility, obviously if Man City comes sniffing around, obviously Anderson is not interested in money. I know it helps, but what I'm hearing is Anderson's interested in the project. Now, are Man United an attractive proposition in regards to the project? Are Man United attractive in regards to that? You would have to say right now that we're not very attractive. Now, when you look at things like this, right, in regards to the manager, right, if you are Anderson, right, and you got Man United and you got Man City there who are linked to you, and you got these players who are linked to you, who are you going to go to? Who are you going to be more attracted to play alongside? Are you going to be attracted to play alongside Pep? Or are you going to be attracted to play with Carrick? And we have to look at things in this critical kind of way, because it is a reality check. Is Carrick going to be attracted to various players? Are players going to look at this project and think, yeah, this is the guy? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And I would have to say, look, they're going to be looking elsewhere. I would say that. Now, Man United in the Champions League with a Luis Enrique would absolutely blow it off the water. You know what I mean? I would say absolutely it would. It would be like this guy, Luis Enrique, Man United would be very attractive. No, because a lot of the managers and a lot of the players these days want to be the guy to bring Man United back to where we were. That is such a big incentive. They want to be that guy to bring Man United back to where they were. So does the manager. This is why when people say, well, Carrick will never come to Man United, it's an absolute myth. Because at the end of the day, wouldn't it be an incentive to say, I was that guy who brought Man United back? You know what I mean? And that is something. Look, Luis Enrique's done it. He's won the T-shirt. He's completed the game in regards to PSG. He's done it. It's over. He's done that. Now he needs to move on to something a little bit more difficult. But guys, one of the things that someone said, I heard on the news the other day, it wasn't the news, it was a pundit. He said, is Manchester United the hardest job in football? I would have to say yes. And the reason it is the hardest job in football is because obviously the board is another one of the things that people don't quite understand, and especially rival fans, they don't really understand about the Glazers. They haven't really delved into the Glazers, into Ineos and stuff like that. They haven't really delved into it. So I do think that being the Man United, especially these days when you've got Wilcox in your ear trying to tell you tactics, I do believe that managing Man United is the most difficult job in football. I would do it. It used to be England, didn't it? It used to say that England is the hardest job. Not anymore for me. Absolutely not. Sanjay, big up Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, of course. Good to see you. Good morning. Good to see you, of course. Huge savings on wages and Sancho, Casemiro, Rashford off the books. Absolutely, Donin. Absolutely, my friend. There is no reason why Man United can't go out there and spend a bunch of money. There's no reason that Man United go out there. But you know as well as I do that these guys are manipulators, they're liars, and I want them to prove me wrong in the summer, because we've had promises before, we've had these false dawns before, haven't we? You know what I mean? At the end there, and I can't trust the board until they actually make actions happen, of course. Thank you so much, Marcus. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to have you back, my guy. Good to see you all, of course. Luis Enrique would be great. Roberto De Zerbi. No, thank you. Kevin, I agree with you. There's something about Roberto De Zerbi. I just don't quite understand the hype. I really don't. I think he's a decent manager. I don't think he's a manager that is going to get Man United back. We've had these hipster managers as well, guys. We've had these type of managers before, and they haven't worked out. We need Luis Enrique. We need the best. That's what Man United need. Man United need the best, and stop messing about with these hipster managers. We just need to get the best, right? And Luis Enrique, for me, is the best manager in Europe at the moment. The way he's playing, the way they dismantled Chelsea yesterday, absolutely phenomenal. Congratulations, brilliant. I really enjoyed it. And I would love to see that type of football at Man United. I really would. I think he's tactically astute. He's a great manager. He's strict as well, guys. He's not a yes man. But this is the thing, isn't it, in regards to the yes man thing? Luis Enrique won't be a yes man. And I think that is going to be his downfall in regards to getting the job at Man United, because obviously we got a net board who want to make all decisions. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, of course. Absolutely. Nikki, big up Kevin. Nikki, big up Nikki. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Carrick doesn't display a playing style or tactics like Amram did, for example. People don't understand about the Amram thing. It's very difficult to explain to people about Amram, about what he was trying to do. because they're looking at results. Even though the results weren't the worst in the world this season, we were 3 points from fourth and stuff like that. But what Ruben Amorim was trying to do is trying to instill a dominating type of football that Man United used to play. Now, you can't just create a dominating style of football. You see, when Man United back in the day, we used to dominate football games, right? We used to get in, as soon as we went on that pitch, we were on the front foot, attacking, pressing back in the day. Remember, right? It doesn't happen overnight with that sort of thing. It didn't happen with Alex Ferguson overnight. It took him 5-6 years to get that style of play, to get that dominating, to get that culture that we are in charge. We dictate the pace of the game. Now, with Carrick, it's like, we will let you play, we'll give you a chance, and we'll counter you when we can. Now, this is the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer model. This is what happened. And this set us back before years. Now, when you're looking at Man United these days, right, you're looking at Man United was starting to change. I could see it. Many people could see it, but obviously many people didn't have the patience for it, right? But we were starting to change. We were starting to create chances. We were getting in the top of the XGs, the top threes in the XGs, the creating chances, major chances, the goals and stuff like that. We were starting to get up there, guys. We just needed a little bit better quality and squad depth, right? Because obviously it ruined us after the AFCON. It ruined us and stuff like that. That's what people don't understand about it. Now we got a manager who's back to basics. And that's one thing I'll say. We're back to basics, back to square one. In regards to that, we're back to basics with Michael Carrick. Now, I really hope that Michael Carrick becomes the next Messiah. I really hope he becomes the next Alex Ferguson. I'm just looking at things right now, and I don't see anything there that suggests to me he's got the quality to bring Man United to where we need to be. He's the type of manager who, for me, will be a vibe manager, not a tactical genius like a Luis Enrique, for example. That's just my opinion, how I feel about it at the moment. I really hope that Michael Carrick does become that guy that I'm talking about. What I would say is this, right? That we had an adversity. It's the first adversity that we've had in regards to the Newcastle defeat, right? We lost to Newcastle. Now we're playing Aston Villa. Let's see how Man United perform. Let's see how Man United bounce back. Because we know when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in charge. When we lost the game, we capitulated, didn't we? We capitulated. We started declining, and we started getting slapped up and stuff like that, and we were like, wow. Goodness me. And this is the scary thing, because obviously when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed his contract, it was around that time, wasn't it? When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed his contract. And we have to be very, very, very careful on what we do with this contract, because this contract that we're going to be giving out, this is huge, guys. This is literally our future right there on the pen. On a biro. This is our future at the end of the day. So we better make the right decision, I'm telling you. Big up, Nikki. LT, big up LT, big up yourself. My fear is that we don't someone like Enrique, then we lose Bruno because he feels the board ain't serious. Then we buy players who won't meet the standards of being a Man United player. Yeah, this is the biggest worry, LT. Of course, players want to feed. Players want to fall in love with the project, don't they? At the end of the day, and if we're getting Michael Carrick, guys. If we're getting Michael Carrick, then I would say that does it attract a certain type of player? You know what I mean? Does it attract a certain type of transfer, if you know what I mean, and stuff like that? Guys, sorry about that. I've got a car alarm going off in the background. I don't know who it is, but yeah, there we go. Is it gonna attract a certain type of player? You know what I mean? I don't know if Michael Carrick is going to attract certain players. Will it attract Anderson, for example? I know that Luis Enrique would. Attract Anderson and stuff like that. Thank you, Rasta. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're well. Absolutely. Hope you're well, Sal. Absolutely. Big up, Nikki. Problem is the Glazers want a yes man. Well, the Glazers and Ineos want a yes man. Yeah, they both want a yes man. And obviously that was evident when Ruben Amorim was doing his thing. And obviously Michael Carrick was right in his ear all the time and, downplaying and disrespecting Ruben Amorim, of course, guys, which we know, but if they're thinking along those lines, they're not going to get success. We are not going to get success. If we're thinking on the lines of, we want a yes man, we're not going to get success, because that's not how it works in football. Look at PSG at the moment, right? And you look at them and the way they're playing, you think they got there through getting a yes man. No. Get Luis Enrique in, back Luis Enrique, let him do his thing, right? Don't interfere with the tactical side of things, the football side of things. It's a Champions League winner. They can't say anything about that, and then let's just see what he can do, at the end of the day. There's too many chefs in the kitchen. I think that the likes of Wilcox and directors of football and that, they're good to have. Don't get me wrong. They're good to help. But that's exactly what they should be. They should be helpers. They shouldn't be people who interfere too much, in my opinion. They shouldn't be interfering in everything in regards to the footballing side, because you're dealing with people who have been playing football their whole lives. Luis Enrique, for example, and managed and been successful at what they're doing as well. So, too many chefs in the kitchen spoil the broth, and I've said that many times. And hopefully we get what's best, not who's the yes man. Have you been watching Wayne Rooney's son, Kai Rooney? Might be the next big thing for Manchester United in the future. I don't know, Kevin. Let me just tell you something about. Can I just say something about players that their daddies are footballers? Can I just say this, right? With all due respect to Kai Rooney, right? I want to say it like this, right? And this is something that we have to think about critically. There's a thing I have about certain players that have their dads and their fathers and their mothers or whatever it is played for the club. The reason is because when Wayne Rooney was being raised, when Wayne Rooney was trying to become a footballer, he was a street footballer, right? He played on the street. He built himself up from the street, playing football in the parks, on the concrete and things like that. When you look at players whose dad was a footballer, for example, my opinion is, right, and I don't know what you guys think of, this is my take on it. My opinion is that I feel that it does take a little bit of edge away from the player because they've been brought up rich. You know what I mean? Let's be real, guys. They've been brought up rich, right? And I actually think that takes away an edge to it. Now there was a thing, guys, in tennis, for example, right? Tennis is a very expensive sport to play, very expensive sport to play. And in England haven't notoriously been successful at tennis, right? And basically because a lot of them are raised very rich and things like that, they're raised with a lot of money, and it takes away that little bit of edge. When the going gets tough, and let me give you an example. Serena and Venus Williams come from Compton, CPT in Los Angeles. Why were they so successful? Because they got that edge. They got that little bit of had to work to get where they got, weren't giving it on the plate, for example. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a Tim Henman, who's a tennis player for England, Britain, shall I say, is a little bit, when the going gets tough, he hasn't got that edge to get him through. And this is something that I take into football. I think it's very important as well that we talk about this, that I hope that Kai Rooney becomes the player that he's going to become. I hope he becomes a fraction of the player in regards to his dad was, because then we're in for a winner, isn't it, at the end of the day? But one thing I would say that I really do hope that he has that edge that his dad had, because that is what his dad, this is what his dad, this is what separated his dad from everyone else. His dad had that anger. You remember that goal against Newcastle when he was shouting at the referee and then he blasted the ball into the top corner against Newcastle? That kind of thing, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And I'm not saying that he's not going to be a skillful player, a flary player and stuff like that. But what I would say is that, sometimes when the dad used to be a footballer, I think, in my opinion, that it does take a little bit of edge away from it. Big up, Kevin. Big up, Don. I can't think of any son that has been better than his father. Probably too much pressure. I don't think it's pressure. I really don't. That is part of it. I understand, but I think it's being raised in a different way. It's being raised in the way that Rooney was raised as opposed to his dad. Rooney had to play in the streets, in the concrete. His son is going to be pampered from a very, very young age, and his son is going to be living off the name, and that's what happens. It's like David Beckham's son, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's you're not going to become that because David Beckham came from East London, Leytonstone. Like me, guys. And it's a lot different from being raised in Leytonstone or being raised in a castle. You know what I mean? Let me tell you that right now. It does take a little bit edge away from you. You know what I mean? Yeah, it does. And I think that is the biggest thing. It's not so much pressure. Big up, Ephraim. Good to see you again, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I also didn't get why Scholes got criticised for telling the truth, because played crap for the last 4 games, and we were fortunate to win those games that was coming. It's because deep down they agree. Look, at the end of the day, I agree with LT here. And in regards to Paul Scholes and other pundits, Paul Scholes has every right to speak his opinion, because I agree with Paul Scholes what he said, that we haven't played well in 4 games. And we have to be honest with ourselves. And this is one thing that we have to be real about it, guys. We have to be honest with ourselves, right? The 4 games that we played, they were great. Some of them were great results. We drew against West Ham, whatever. But the 4 games that we played, we were awful, guys. We were awful, and we were fortunate. Whether we relied on a last-minute goal, whether we relied on VAR, whatever we relied on, we were not good, guys. Let's just be totally honest, guys. And Paul Scholes was right. The only thing I would have a pick Paul Scholes about is that Paul Scholes is always negative. There is room for a little bit of positivity sometimes. And that's one thing I would say about it. But in regards to the 4 games, Absolutely, he's spot on. He's spot on, and I don't disagree with that. I don't think we should be censoring real opinion. I don't think this is where we get, this is why Man United won't become good, because we keep censoring real opinion. And if we keep censoring real opinion, how are we going to improve? Because those players already think they've made it at the end of the day. We have played poorly. And I think people analyze the game. Don't just look at games based on goals and numbers. Know that we've been playing poorly, and eventually we're going to come unstuck. And lo and behold, we came unstuck against Newcastle. 10 men Newcastle, by the way. This is what I want to emphasize. 10 men Newcastle. It was an awful performance, guys. It was an awful performance. But I agree with Paul Scholes there. And I'm fed up with people throwing the book at Paul Scholes and throwing it. Paul Scholes is a serial winner. We're 11 championships at the end of the day. So look, at the end of the day, I don't want... If it's his opinion anyway, it's opinion I actually agree with, because I said it after every single game. We didn't play well there. We were lucky. We didn't play well there. We were lucky. And I kept saying it, and I thought I was like the only one. But thank God people are starting to say, well, we were lucky and stuff like that at the end of the day, guys. Yeah, there you go. By the way, I am cutting my hair. I will cut my hair once we win 5 games. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking, guys. I haven't had a chance to cut my hair, guys, and you know what I mean. At the end of the day, but I will be getting a chance to cut my hair. I look like a wildebeest at the moment, so I will be fixing myself up and all that, of course, guys. Absolutely, for the streams and stuff. Been traveling a lot, obviously, a lot of pressure and stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely good to see you here, guys. But yeah, look, I think censoring is one of the most dangerous things in life in general. The truth hurts. I was raised on that. The truth hurts. I remember when we used to go to play in the parks when I was younger. I used to play Sunday League football. And I remember the abuse used to get on the side of the pitch when people what they used to say and stuff like that. It toughens you up a little bit. And I think that a lot of the players these days, they just want pampering too much. They want too many compliments. It's always, they want compliments. They want, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. I think it's too much of that going on at the moment, in my opinion. And this is what annoys me. They need to be told, you are not challenging for a league. You've not done that for years. You're not in the Champions League. You're not in Europe in general. So you deserve this. You have played poorly in 4 games. And we have seen this movie before. We've seen this movie under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've seen all this before unravel before our very eyes. Call it PTSD, call it whatever you want to call it. But we've seen this before. And this is something that we have to mention and we have to call out when the time is right. And I think that Paul Scholes was right. I do. I think it was right. I think we played crap. I mean, maybe his choice of words wasn't what it should have been. Maybe his choice of words should have been better. But at the end of the day, he's got a podcast. If he goes on that podcast and he starts talking like the birds and the bees in regards to flowers and rainbows and unicorns, if he starts doing that, then people are going to think, oh, this is rubbish. This is rubbish. He's not being real. His opinion is lying. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Now, guys, look, I come on this show and I predicted that Man United at the beginning of the season would be in the top 4. At the beginning of the season, I predicted that we'd be in the top 4, regardless who the manager was. I also said a few weeks ago that Man United would be top 2, 3. I did say that as well. And some people are thinking I was being too positive about that, and I was lying to the community and stuff like that. But I wasn't. I actually believe that Man United could come in the top 2 and top 3, and I think we are going to come in the top 3. And lo and behold, we are now in March, guys, and we're in the 3rd place, right? So I wasn't wrong, was I? At the end of the day, right? But what I would say is this, right? Sometimes I will call things positively. I will say things positive, but I wouldn't have no worry about calling things negatively as well. And it's not negative. It's actually, negatives can be a positive because you're calling things as they are. So like I've always said, I would like my family, my friends, this community to be honest with me. Be honest with me. Don't lie to me just to make me happy. No, I would like the community. I would like people to be honest with me. And I think that's the most important thing, because without honesty, you can't improve. Right? If someone came up to me in this community and said, Sal, do you know what? You should do this, you should do that, because it might, your channel might grow a little bit more and stuff like that. And, I'll say, well, I'll take it in because you're part of my community. That's what I do. If people come on here and, and we just start talking all happy-go-lucky Care Bears and unicorns, it's going to be like, what is this? We're not champions. We're not the champion. We're not in the Champions League and stuff like that. And I think that's very important. You know what I mean? LT. Sal, if we don't approach Enrique to come and they give Carrick the job, it will be a big mistake. There you go. Absolutely. How are you and your family? So very well, FM, at the moment. So far, so good, mate. I'm out of obviously danger way for now. Of course, there has been a number of problems politically. Obviously, people don't learn. The human race doesn't learn from the past mistakes, unfortunately. And it doesn't help when you've got absolute maniacs running the world, and one of them is Orange. And what I would say is that we have to eradicate or imprison, impeach people who are hell-bent on tearing this world apart, because their life is basically at the end. And that's what I think, right? There's so much evil what goes on, what I've noticed and stuff like that. And so much of it is going to take this human race down. And this is what it is. And I've always said it in life in general. I've always said about life, I said that, you know, one of the best characteristics about human beings, I think it's the best characteristic. I think we thrive with it. I think we win with it. Is kindness. It's one of the main thing is kindness, acceptance, kindness, you know, and I think that this is something that we've gone away from. You know, we got people running big major countries who are like treating the world like a computer game, you know, and this is where, you know, where we're going to come unstuck as a human race, right? At the end of the day, you know, if devils run the world, we're in for suicide at the end of the day, you know. Big up Ephraim, big up Nikki. The Forever United streamer has his hair growing long. A United supporter and his barber offered to meet him at Old Trafford to cut his hair. It's ridiculous. These are things that, you know what, we need to get rid of at the fan base as well. These people who make a mockery of the football club, in my opinion. You're right, mate. Big up, my friend. How you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me this morning, my guy. Big up. Sal, you see Lee Gunner. You see Lee Gunner. He is the goat of exploitive. You say Barcelona win the Champions League, 4 EPL sides be out. I see Arsenal win it. I would want anyone to win it than any other. Like, I don't want Liverpool to win it. I don't want Arsenal to win it. I don't want City to win it. So I wouldn't mind Barcelona winning it. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. You know, I do think the Premier League's a little bit overrated, but so is generally the majority of Europe. Spain is overrated. Look at Real Madrid and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that Spanish football's a little bit overrated as well. You know, I think that football in general is in the mud. I do feel that. I feel like, let me just see something here. 1 second. Yeah, I think football in general is in the mud. I don't think the Premier League is at its best right now. I think the Premier League, but that just goes to show you when teams like Tottenham qualify in the top 8 in the Champions League, right? That just goes to show you. Now, English football teams have been the best in the last 5 years. I would not argue that. They have been the best. You know what I mean? But this season, in particular, no, absolutely not. Rubbish. Tonali would be he would be absolutely good player. He's on that top list again, isn't it? He's on that top tier again. LT, people don't want to call out Carrick for his training of the players because we lost intensity in games. And it's funny because we never lacked intensity. But it's the thing. This is the thing, innit? And I'll say this a number of times. I think I've said this 1,000 times about, greatness wasn't achieved with comfort zones. I'll say that right now. Greatness was not achieved with comfort zones. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and hopefully not, but it does seem that way, Michael Carrick are comfort zone managers. Comfort zone managers means we'll take it easy, you know, don't worry about it, mates rates, come into training when you like, when you're late and this and that. What kind of environment, what kind of culture does that bring? You know what I mean? These players have proven time and time again, they can play their comfort football, but they were down tool with that comfort football. So you have to be disciplined with those players. And this is something that Erik ten Hag and Ruben Amorim were trying to do, especially Ruben Amorim, right? Now, Michael Carrick is like a manager. Like, if you start telling the players to come in late on match days or we're not going to train today, we're going to train less now, we're not going to train as much, as you go out and enjoy yourself, meet your family. Guys, Man United won a treble, right? In 98, 99, we were playing Saturdays, Saturday, Monday or Wednesday, playing on a Saturday again, and then a Monday or a Wednesday, and playing on a Saturday or Sunday again, and a Wednesday. And that's what we were doing. Do you think we did that through comfort? Do you think they did that? I saw players limping on the pitch, injured on the pitch. And this is what we're talking about at the end of the day, you know? At the end of the day, is what we're talking about. Beef, morning, Sal. If Chelsea go out and Liverpool, we may lose top 5 and play less games. Absolutely. Garrett, thank you for getting rid of the idiot. Thank you. Sal, good morning. I said second or third, by the way. This idiot who keeps coming on my channel saying that I said that we're going to come second. I said we've got a possibility to come second. I don't think they understand the English language. I said we've got a possibility to come second, but second or third is what I'm predicting. And even then I was laughed at with third place. So we're third place. Losers, isn't it, at the end of the day? Sal, good morning, brother. Good to see you back. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much, my guy. I really appreciate everyone who's with your well wishes and stuff like that. I really appreciate you all. Absolutely. You know what I mean, guys? I really appreciate everyone. Garrett, exactly, Sal. This thing to keep players happy is bullshit. Yeah, why? What have they achieved for us to want to keep them happy? That's one thing I will say about it. Why would we want to keep them happy? What have they done to warrant that? And that's what I'm saying. Like we should be training more, not less. You know what I mean? I've never seen that in my life where, you know what, you're doing badly, train less. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, I'm not saying they're doing badly this season. They're actually doing better than a lot of people envisioned at the end of the day. And that's one thing I would say. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys. Yeah. So let's just hope that we get that third or second place or fourth place. It's good enough. That's all that matters. And I will be right. I've done it, and a lot of people laughed at me at the beginning of the season. Is when you make predictions at the beginning of the season. That's what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference in regards to it and stuff like that. So I would say that, of course, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. And I would say, yeah, brilliant, absolutely. You know, that's good enough. Sal, I think Bayern Munich will win it. I would love Bayern Munich to win it. I'll be honest with you, Ephraim. I would love Bayern Munich to win it. There's a couple of teams I would love to win it, and Bayern Munich are one of them. I wouldn't mind Real Madrid winning it. I wouldn't mind one of them teams winning it. But Bayern Munich, absolutely, Ephraim. I like Bayern Munich. I like German football, and I would love them to win it. Absolutely. I think that would be an absolute shutdown, of course. It's difficult. I think the best team in that competition is probably Arsenal, and we have to be honest with that. If I was a betting man, I think this is Arsenal's best chance to win this competition. It's their best chance. I don't want it to happen. Honestly, it would be horrible, it'd be awful, the fans and that, but you have to hold your hands up. If they do it, congratulations. You know what I mean? Well done. You've done it. You know, congratulations. And you were the best team. Well done. That's sport. That's life. And, you know, raise your game. And this is something that we as Man United fans, we can't cry about it. We have to say, look, you know what? They done it. We didn't. You know, just like when we were winning Champions Leagues and stuff like that, you know, I didn't look at Arsenal and stuff like that. And, you know, we were just winning. It's concentrating on winning. And that's what you have to do and be the best. To be the best, you've got to be the best. And we're not there yet, you know, and we have the ability to beat the likes of Arsenal. We probably would do a better job in Europe than a lot of those clubs in Europe at the moment, because we're very good at beating the likes of Arsenal and teams like that. But consistency is what wins you trophies. That's what wins you trophies at the end of the day. Beef Bully, Luis Enrique can arrive now that we do it. I would not mind Conte or Nagelsmann or try to get it. I mean, if it's me, I don't want Nagelsmann. He reminds me of Erik ten Hag a little bit. He's a hipster manager. I speak to a lot of German people, guys, and I would say that he would be a good manager, but I think the only man I would put ahead of Carrick is probably, look, I would say Luis Enrique. If it's a squeeze, I would say Nagelsmann. I won't put Conte because Conte will be sacked in a few weeks. Not because of his managerial ability, but because he's going to fall out with the board and whatnot, if you know what I mean. Absolutely. Sal, some of our players simple. They are curious. Yeah, absolutely. So if their Premier League team's not going to finish strong in the Champions League, if fifth spot's still available, they measure it up. At the moment, we're okay. But if all the teams get knocked out this round, it's going to be dangerous to qualify, because I think they at least need to get to the quarterfinal, things like that. So it's going to be difficult for Man United to get that. But this is why we got to come top 3, top 4, top 2, whatever. You know what I mean? Wilcox will be the end of us, like Woodward was, because every time I hear anything connected to him, I just feel he's out of his depth. And where we are now as a club just proves that. Absolutely, LT, spot on, mate. Absolutely spot on. I think that Wilcox is a danger. I think that Wilcox needs to go. I've had enough of Wilcox. I think Wilcox is a finished man at this football club, and hopefully he goes as well at the end of the season. But we're going to have to wait and see, don't we? But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I will be on Don Hassan's channel later on today, of course, 1:30 UK time, guys. Don Hassan's channel. Don't forget to join him on that channel, of course. Great channel, great guy. Join me on there, guys, 1:30 p.m. UK time for that one, of course. I will be live on there, so join me there. I will try and bring a Chatterbox later on as well. I'm going to try and do more content, of course. Now I am in safety territory, of course, guys. I will try and do as much as I can. But I want to say thank you to the great community and everyone who's joined me today. You're absolute legends. Thank you, guys. I really, really appreciate you all. Please don't forget to subscribe, smash a like on the video as well, guys. Very important that happens as well, guys. Take it easy. Have a great day, great evening, great night, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn, and I'll see you later on, guys. Take it easy. Peace.